All right, folks, it's Friday morning, Friday, February 23rd, 2024. That means it's time for a safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department. Safety department is located in the Z building, ground level, right center of the room, right next to the pillars. And as always, if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to stop by. We'll promise we'll figure out how we can help you and get you to the right folks that can assist you. We try to be as transparent as we possibly can and do these live meetings every single Friday morning, 52 Friday mornings a year. We are live here in Springfield, Missouri, and we are simulcasting live at our outside terminals, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Pittston, Pennsylvania. And of course, as always, we're live across the socials. So welcome to our folks that are watching and listening on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and now Instagram. If you want to go back and archive our Friday safety meetings, you can go back and watch back as far as I think we've got about a year in archive. So please feel free to go back and watch the content, give us some feedback, and let us know what you want to see in the future. So as always, at these meetings, breakfast is free. So at each of our locations. So if you haven't jumped in line yet, please feel free to jump in line, and our folks will get you taken care of. John Blanchard and his team do an amazing job at all of our locations getting all of us hungry trucking professionals fed. So before we get started, let's give those folks a quick round of applause at all of our locations just to tell them thank you. You know, Bill, one of these days we're going to drag old Blanchard out here and talk to him about, you know, how many folks he feeds a week, a month, a year, just at Friday morning meetings alone. So
I think it'd scare us, Dennis.
It scares us, yeah. So with me this morning, we've got Bill Sprague from our safety department. Not an often Friday morning speaker, but we got some folks out of the office, so I had to drag him on up here this morning. So good morning, Bill.
Good morning. They'll find out here in a few minutes why you don't bring me up here very often.
But we also got folks at our other locations. So we're going to go east first. So typically, Rick Iford is up there, but Rick Iford's standing right there. So I think we're going to have Richard and Lisa in Pittston. Good morning, Richard and Lisa.
Good morning. You know, we have a busy week up here this week, and a lot of things going on, and you know, weather's nice, but I want to talk about some of the other things and kind of talk about you know, kind of some of the procedures and things that we go on here. And I'd like to actually bring up Matt Brown and kind of talk to him for just a minute here and really kind of talk to you guys about some of the things that happen here in the plaza. So first, I'll just ask you, Matt, how long you've been with Prime?
8 years.
8 years. Okay. And why'd you come to Prime?
It's a very good company to work for. I started at entry level, and then I worked my way up, and it's the only real job I know, to be honest with you.
Awesome. So Matt actually works in our inbound, outbound, and Matt, I want you to kind of talk to me. If I'm a day one driver, what am I going to experience? For these folks that are new, if they come in there and they're driving in for the first time, our AC new hires, what are they going to experience when they come in to the plaza?
Well, they're going to experience very good customer service. We try to be very attentive to that. Basically, without the drivers, I mean, we don't move. So basically, the quick breakdown of the procedure: when you first pull in, 4 ways. City horn before you come in the door. Speed limit 5 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour. I mean, we got a lot of guys moving around, and they got families. Obviously, they want to go home to them. So when they pull up, if you're dropping the load, have the bills ready. Have your lock off. And if you come in empty, make sure you take your lock off prior, after pulling in, because the inspectors obviously have to look in the back. Anything you need, you can just stop in the office, trip sheets, new permits, etc.
Awesome. So safety. That's about 3 of the first things that you talked about. And then if they need anything in there as far as permits, they can come in and see you guys.
Absolutely.
So awesome. Well, hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate you coming up here. All right, I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thank you guys, and appreciate you guys being with us this morning. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to step to the microphone. We'll shift our focus out west. think we've got Tyler Patrick and Aaron Ward this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic.
Good morning, Dennis. Great week in Salt Lake. We had a good orientation class, and we've already started our preparation for the truck driving championships that are going to be hosted by Prime again this year for Utah. So we're excited about that. We do have a special guest that we're going to bring up this morning. So Mike, come on up.
Good morning. I met some of the people back in Springfield back in September, but a lot of people here still don't really know me. I've been here about 5 months now on the shop management side. Since I've been here, we've been pretty focused on tech reviews, you know, developing the foreman, just trying to be more efficient, more safety focused, and, you know, more effective for the company, and trying to get drivers on the road, keep them on the road, keep empties available for loads, you know, helping out the account managers and the dispatchers. So, you know, that's kind of the focus we have out here going forward, and look forward to many more years with Prime.
Yeah, so Mike came on to us, September last year. We brought him on to our shop administrative team. Mike's got a long history in shop management. He's been a great asset for us out here. Mike, you were a military veteran, right?
Right, 23 years, retired from the Army.
23 years. So, Mike's an example of, the people we like to have around here. Very strong, focused individual, great charisma with the team. And yes, absolutely. So anyways, want to introduce Mike. Mike sits in the shop office with us. So if there's anything we can do for you, by all means, stop in, introduce yourself. He's got a great rapport with our drivers and starting to make a name for himself already. We're excited to have him here.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate you guys being on with us this morning. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right, back here to Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, folks. Come on, you guys got a little bit more energy than that. I think we're down to 27 days, if my math is correct, to spring. So the sun's shining here in Springfield, Missouri. We're ready to transition into the next phase of trucking. In trucking, there's 2 seasons. Anybody know what those 2 seasons are? What are 2 seasons? One's winter. What's the other one? Construction. There you go. So, your tax dollars at work. So as the ground starts to thaw, especially in the southern states and Midwestern areas, you're going to start to see more and more construction areas start to pop up, and ironically, it seems like the same areas are always under construction. It's like a forever construction situation. But of course, we are trucking professionals. You know how to navigate through those situations. I always want you to make sure you're driving the appropriate speed for the conditions, and that doesn't mean just winter weather. That means construction situations as well. So we've got a lot of speakers today, so we won't bore you too much with a lot of safety, but we do want to talk a little bit about what we've done over the last 14 months or so, and kind of the recognition that we've received. So anybody receive the safety staple on a weekly basis? Anybody? So hopefully you received it this morning. We sent it out a little late this week, and that was by design. We were waiting on some results from an event we went to last night. So the Missouri Trucking Association is an industry organization right here in the state of Missouri that gives out awards. So one of the awards that our Prime drivers received this year, we received the first place award in their safety contest for their over-the-road 15 million plus mile category. So please give yourselves a round of applause. I think it deserves a little bit more applause than that. That's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. And it goes to show that just a little bit of focus on safety, a little bit focus on compliance, we can do a lot. This is just going to be the first of many as we move forward. I do also want to mention a few names. So on last night, 13 Prime drivers were awarded the Chair Safety Club Award. Those are Emily Plummer, Calvin Little, Kenneth Bebow, Anthony Eck, Thomas Hogan, Gary Turner, Donald Cook, Henry Manning, Thomas Miller, Glenn Horak, Victor Blackburn, Clifton Humphrey, and Darla Ritchie. So let's give those folks a round of applause. The crown jewel of last night's event is always the Driver of the Year award. And for the second time in his career, and he's not with us this morning because he's still up there celebrating, Mr. Thomas Miller was awarded the Missouri Trucking Association Driver of the Year award. So let's give him a round of applause. Great job to all prime drivers. This isn't just a referendum of the safety team, which our safety team is fantastic, but it's more so about you, the driver, what you did, the changes that you made, how you got better, how you focused on safety and compliance, and folks are starting to take notice.
I don't know about you, Dennis, but I've been thinking about this since last night. I think I left there hungry. Well, I mean, besides the food. The food was good. Don't get me wrong. It was no John Blance at Oasis food, but it was good. But I left hungry because there's 12 months in a year, right? Right? Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Thomas Miller got November's Driver of the Year from Missouri. There's 11 other months. I want prime drivers in every one of those 11 months. We have good drivers here. We have the best drivers here. Next time we go to one of these, I want to see Prime's name across the whole thing. Does everybody like a dynasty? Anybody mad at the Patriots when they run all those Super Bowls? People like to be mad at people that win everything, right? I mean, he won't agree with me, but Mahomes and the Chiefs are there. They're getting there, right? I want people to look at Prime like that. I want people to not like us because we're that good. They get tired of seeing us win. There's 11 months that we missed that we need a driver in that spot. We don't only want Driver of the Year from Missouri. I'm not taking anything away from Thomas. Thomas is the man, but we got a lot more here that can do the same thing. I want to see not only Thomas win Driver of the Year from Missouri, there's 48 other states that we want to be Driver of the Year for. So let's not just focus on, yeah, we won Missouri. That's awesome. Let's win all of them. Let's win Driver of America, right? We can do it. We're going to get drivers nominated, and now we're going to be the dynasty. Prime is going to be the dynasty that everybody looks at and goes, I want to work there because I want to be one of those drivers. So I left there hungry, Dennis. I want more.
I did too. And, I didn't know that you're going to say that, but I'm going to tell you about a conversation that me and Steve Wucky had as we were walking out of that event. And it was basically the same exact thing. I was happy that we won our award, and I was happy for
Agreed.
Thomas. But I said the same thing. There's 12 months in a year. We got one Driver of the Month award, and there's no dang reason that we shouldn't be dominating that thing every year. We've got, as good as Thomas is, and as fantastic as his resume is, we got 1,000 more guys that are just as good as Thomas, if not better. And then that's not a knock on Thomas. He's fantastic. That's just to say we have such talented drivers in our fleet that we will dominate moving forward.
The question should only be, how do they only pick 12?
It's only 12 months.
I'm going to say they have enough applicants. How are they only going to pick 12?
There you go. So enough applicants from Prime. We're going to flood it. We're going to flood it from now on. That's your commitment from us, that we're going to dominate these things because you guys deserve it. So, we're about we're all the way through our portion.
Can I talk about inspections real quick?
But we need to talk about inspections. Go ahead.
So inspections this week, I went over them. We review them every single week. We got to sign off on them, send them back to the state. These are what impact our CSA numbers. Now, I wanted to touch on CSA numbers for a second because I'm going to put it in layman's terms for you, and you're going to find out why Dennis does not ask me to talk up here. Okay, I only talk in layman's terms because that's the only way I understand stuff. So CSA points, when you get an inspection violation, that's what goes against our safety score. Now, if this gentleman sitting over here gets an inspection violation, does that affect you? Yes, the answer is yes. It affects every single one of us that wear this Prime lanyard, okay? That affects us as far as our report card. That's what carriers look at when they're trying to determine who they're giving the freight to. Now, to tell you how CSA impacts us and why we as a carrier have got to strive to get better, just like on everything else we talked about right here, I'm going to put it into an analogy of baking. And this is why you're going to find out he's not going to ask me to come back. So everybody like cake? I love cake. And if you say you don't like cake, you eat it when nobody's looking. Everybody likes cake. So I'm going to compare CSA and a cake whenever Mr. Wudke over here is given a bid package, whether it be tanker flatbed, but I'm going to use Mr. Wudke as an example. He wants to take the best cake he can to the customer, right? Well, we're going to start with the foundation of that cake, and the foundation of that cake is safety. We got to make sure we're doing it safe. That's the foundation of that cake. That's the batter. That's everything. You baked it just perfect. We're going to put a little layers in between. That's the perfect cake. But now we got to have something on top of it. That icing is going to be picking up and delivering on time. Got to have it. That's got to be part of that bid package, right? But to make the perfect cake, we want the perfect icing. So we got to be as perfect as we possibly can. I don't mean that fondant stuff that you can't hardly chew. You scrape it off, lay it to the side. We need good icing, right? So now the cake's not done. I can still say no to that cake. So can you. We got to make an irresistible cake if we're going to take it to our customers. Okay? Sprinkles. Who likes sprinkles? I got a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old. I know if it's got sprinkles on it, they're going to eat it or they're going to cry for it until they get it. Everybody likes sprinkles. CSA is those sprinkles. Okay? If we can get those CSA numbers down where we're compliant in everything, you put that sprinkles on top of there before he takes that bid package cake in, they can't say no. So instead of Steve Wutke having to go in for 2, 3, 4 hours to fight and just claw and try to get a dime or a nickel, come out looking like Rocky Balboa at the end of any of his movies. Now all of a sudden he walks in with this cake, he gets to kick the door in. He walks up to the table and sets it in the middle of the table and says, "You call me when you're ready." He walks back out, right, Steve? That's what we need to do as a company. Let's improve on all of those areas to where it doesn't just impact sales, it impacts this entire company. Now all of a sudden, we're not just having drivers of the year, we're having the safest company in the country. Not only that, we're going to be putting our brand out there where every customer wants one of those cakes. So that's my challenge to everybody in here today. That's all I got. And
Protect the brand, put it out there so every single one of them will want one of those cakes. That's
With sprinkles.
fantastic. That's fantastic. Hey, I'm going to recap the week here at Prime here really quick. On Monday, we had our quarterly driver advisory board. Are there any driver advisory board members here in the crowd? Hopefully you guys are not hanging around too much. You get out of here. We meet quarterly. The driver advisory board discusses some challenges or things that they want to see change with our management team. And I think we had an extremely successful meeting. We have a similar advisory council for the driver development. We also met this week, so good things are coming down the pipeline from that. But one of our most special events of the year, and I'm going to ask Rico to come on up here and talk about that event. Rico didn't know that he was coming up here. I just happened to see you out of the corner of my eye. So good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
Good. Quickly tell the folks who you are.
David Nelson. I've been here since 06, so around about almost 18 years.
All right. So on Monday night, we had a pretty special celebration and you were part of it. Tell us
Yeah,
about
we had a
that.
great celebration. It was the 2 million mile, 3, 4, and 1, 5. So yeah, that's a big achievement. We had a great time. The dinner was phenomenal. The scenery was great. All the way till I got up and got off the stage, so but it was great. Yeah.
So how many millions did you get?
I got 2 million miles.
2 million. So that's 14 years. Yeah, let's give Rico a round of applause.
Thank you.
14 years of accident-free driving. So just really quick, tell the folks, what's the secret? How do you get that from?
Well, the secret of it is, I think a lot of drivers can get up here and they'll say mile by the mile. That's extremely true. But the thing about it is, it focuses on you and it focuses back on, keeping yourself alert at all times and try your best not to get critical events. That's the number one. That's the warning shot there. You get them critical events out the way, you'll reach this 2 million and the 3 million and the 4 million, and just stay alert. The most thing I see on some of my other trucks is that they take ramps too fast. Man, slow down. These speed limits is what wasn't built for us. They never will be. So just slow down, have the post speed limit, take these ramps and stay alert at all times. Yeah.
Excellent work. So Monday night, we awarded our 2, 3, 4, and in the first time of the company's history, a 5 million mile accident-free driver. That was Mr. Les Walter. Let's give him a round of applause. I think we got Wes over there. Les over there. Come on up here. Come on up here. Now he's an old guy, so it may take him a minute to get up here, but You know, I don't want to, definitely don't want to take away from your thunder. You know, you got a full head of hair, which I don't have a lot of gray. So
Lucky.
that means you probably got about 2 million more in you, right?
And I want his record.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. Come on up here. I'm going to have you both stand up here for a second. You can hand the mic off to him.
You know, you're interfering with my breakfast.
I'm interfering with your breakfast. How you doing, sir?
Good, good.
Good, good. So,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. So 5 million miles. What in the heck? You mean to tell me not one car pulled out in front of you? Not
Of course
one?
not. You know, I'm out there all by myself all the time.
It's like you're in a bubble.
That's exactly right.
There you go. So right here on the stage, we've got 5 million, 2 million, that's 7 million accident-free miles right here. And I'm sure we've got some other folks here that have reached some milestones too. But this is fantastic. Now I'm gonna ask you, same as we did David here, what's your secret?
Well, David's correct. It's focusing on directly in front of you. The focus is important. You know, it's that one, working on that one. Don't worry about them. You got them done, you know, but worry on that. Not worry about it. Just focus on the next mile, the next moment. You know, we know something's going to happen. Just be prepared for that. You know, the attention level is very important, of course. You know, it takes about 1/100 of a second not paying attention to maybe not react to something that's starting to happen. And so do I make it every time? Do I not goof up? Of course not. I do it all the time, but that's how it works. It really is. I don't think it's complicated.
You know, you touched on something that I touch on a lot. You know, we don't expect any driver to be perfect. You know, every driver's human. Every driver's going to make mistakes. You know, 5 million accident-free miles and 2 million accident-free miles. I'm sure you guys make mistakes on the road too, but your habits are good. You have fantastic habits
And awareness.
and awareness. So I think those are keys in that longevity. So, you know, you think you got, was it 5 million more left in you?
At least 1 million. You know, I have to talk to Steve and Robert.
There you go. At least 1 million more.
Come on now, Dennis. I'm working on getting close to a little bit on the age side.
Okay. All right. Maybe 500,000, 1 million. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
one
it.
at a time.
One at a time. There you go. Same as what David said. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Thank you so much for letting me interrupt your breakfast. All right.
I heard him say something you say all the time.
What's that?
Stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Fantastic. Fantastic. You know, we didn't give the inspection number, so you want to give that real quick, and we'll get to our next speaker.
It looks, well, I kind of got wrapped up in the cake thing. Looks like we had 168 total inspections. It was a very busy week. That was our highest number of inspection total since July last year. So they were on us last week. Out of those 168, we had 113 clean for 67% clean rate. So give yourselves a round of applause. We've had officers up here telling us before about 40. 40 on the high side is the average. So you guys, of course, we know are way above average. So good work.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Fantastic week here at Prime Incorporated. Next week is going to be even better. You know, we're going to keep it moving. We typically try to highlight a vendor at least a couple times a month. This week, we're going to highlight our company store. And I'm going to ask Summer Long to come on up. Looks like she's got something with her. Maybe somebody's going to have to hold that for her. So good morning, Summer. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
All right. What do you got for us?
Today we have our new 4-piece carpets for the trucks. You know, your feet get cold or you want something more comfortable to walk on. So we definitely brought these in. They'll be available in Freightliner, Peterbilt, International, Volvo. They're $156 and they are available at all 3 locations and on the PrimeInkStore.com. All locations now are Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sunday, 9 to 3. So you can come see all Salt Lake, PA, Springfield, any of those days. And Safety would like to generously give these away if they have a question.
I don't need a question. I just give them away, right?
Yeah, you can give them away. It's up
All
to you.
right.
This is
So
what you
I'm
want
going
to
to
do.
arbitrarily pick somebody in the crowd. So, and we got one of these at each of our
Yes,
locations,
sir.
correct?
Yep.
So I'm
It's
going to
in
have
Salt Lake as well.
Aaron Ward and Tyler Patrick. I think they've got a set of these out in Salt Lake City. Let's give it to somebody deserving. Same in Pittston. Lisa and Richard, if you make sure somebody in Pittston deserving of this gets one of these. So do we have it? Raise your hand if you're AC, because of course you can't go be putting stuff in other people's truck. Raise your hand. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. All right. Let's see. Is anybody from the state of Illinois? You have a CDL in the state of Illinois. Bang. Wait. Good enough. It's yours. All right. All right.
Nice.
Good
And then
enough.
at any location, if the formats you get do not fit your truck, just let the store know and we'll make sure we get the proper size for your truck.
All right. So store hours at each of our locations.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, Saturday 9 to 5, and Sunday 9 to 3.
All right. And open 24 hours online at?
PrimeInkStore.com.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you, Summer. Thank you for being
Thank
with us
you.
this morning.
We do have them available in black and gray. If by request, we can get in red and other colors if we need to. We just see Tiffany, myself, Cody, Matt, anybody at the locations, and we'll arrange that for y'all.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Quick question, Summer.
Oh, I'm
Do you
sorry,
have
we
any
just-
for Kenworth? I'm right next to you, Dennis.
Oh,
Look to your
over here,
left.
sorry. Yes, we can special order them for Kenworth.
Thank you.
Man, it was like a ghost was talking. I didn't know who was talking. Thank you, Summer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Let's give her a round of applause. There you go. Somebody need one right away. All right. So keeping it moving right along. You know, every week we're going to have somebody from Driver Health and Fitness here. And one of the reasons that we do that is to convey that this is one of the core values of this company. We want to make sure that we always want to be safe. We want to make sure you take care of your equipment. We want to make sure you're compliant. But at the end of the day, the most important, piece of that operation is the driver sitting in the driver's seat. And we want to make sure that we're constantly pushing information that can help you live longer, be healthier. So I'm going to ask our dietitian, Rachel, to come on up, and she's going to bring a guest with her this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel. I'm the dietitian with Driver Health and Fitness, and this is Bob. He is an intern
Howdy.
from going through dietetic school through MSU. So we've got a couple of prizes to hand out this morning. So real quick, the first kind of question that I have for you guys is something that I've talked about at another safety meeting, and it is a super easy way to lower your blood sugar after a meal. Can anyone think of a way that that's possible, even just standing in place, a way to lower your blood sugar after a meal? No?
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good one. He said drink water. Yeah, awesome. Take a walk. Okay. Bob, you want to go give him? Yeah, so unfortunately, diabetes, pre-diabetes is becoming more and more prevalent. It is twice as common in this industry as it is in like a normal 9-to-5 desk job. And it's over half of the population will be pre-diabetic or diabetic by the year 2030. So it is, even if you're not dealing with any of those issues, it is becoming more of an issue. And so that is why we want to bring some light to it. And you can lower your blood sugar spike after a meal by 30%. Just by doing 5 to 10 minutes of activity. And that can just be walking in place in your truck, or that can be, going outside. Just a simple walk will do that drastic decrease on your blood sugar. So I wanted, Brianne, if you could pull up on the driverhealthandfitness.com site, we've got the walking club up there. And so this is a great way to kind of have a little bit of competition and kind of some motivation to walk. So you've got a leaderboard up there. You can log your miles just by going on driverhealthandfitness.com. And Brianne, if you can scroll down a little bit, right below that is the way, I think it's the button next to the leaderboard up there. That's how you log your miles. So you just enter in your driver code, you take a screenshot of your tracking app. So this can just be the app, the health app on your phone that pretty much all phones come with, or it can be a specific tracking app like the Under Armour one or any of those. Or if you have an Apple Watch, it tracks your steps. So just take a screenshot of that, upload it there, and that's kind of how we keep track of everything. Anyone in here who has logged their miles on this? Talk to Thomas. Yeah, Thomas is there in the lead for sure. Okay, anyone, if you would like to have one of these hats up here or a shirt, if the first one to get their miles logged can have their choice of this. So you could just go to driverhealthbusiness.com. You can get it through your app as well. And yeah, you can have one of these options. So. Okay,
That's about it.
thank you guys. Just let us know whoever the first one gets logged, okay?
All right, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. So you can stay up here too. So tell me your name again.
Bob.
Bob, you're new,
Bob, I guess.
you're new here. You're an intern.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You said Missouri State?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I went to Missouri State. It still costs a lot of money.
Not as much as KU, but yeah, decent amount.
I think I had to take a few of those classes multiple times. Maybe that's why it costs so much. All right. Well, how long have you been interning here at Prime?
So I've been here for about 2 weeks, and I have my one more week to go. Next
All
week's my
right,
last
good.
week here.
Good deal. Hey, so I noticed your shirt
Yeah.
and it says Special Forces. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So I got to serve my term in my country and the Special Forces as a paratrooper, and I got to work with a lot of U.S. Army folks. And I just have so much respect for y'all, and I love that you guys are wearing red. And I really work with those guys that actually were deployed out in South Korea, and it was an honor for me to enjoy meals together and get kind of go through the same airborne training, and it was an awesome time. So I just want to say thank you so much about that.
Let's give them a round of applause. So could you ask everybody that serves to stand up?
Yeah. If you've served in any kind of armed force, could you please stand up?
Let's honor these folks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Prime, Bob.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. You know, I started here as an intern, just like Bob.
You weren't in the special forces, Dennis.
Fair enough, fair enough.
By the way, we talked about my skydiving career a little bit last night. His is way better, and no one ever shot at me while I was doing it. So
Yeah, so thank you, Bob, for your service to the country, and thank you, everybody that stood up at all of our locations. So we're going to keep rolling here. I'm going to ask Doug Tam to come on up, and I'm going to have the other Dennis Cantrell, to come on up with him. So good morning, guys. Tell us what you got.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right. Got some energy this morning. Thank you, first off, for what you do. I know we had a lot of events this week. If you won an award 5 million miles, holy smokes, dude. Congratulations, man. That's a huge honor. That's great. That's outstanding. We're going to talk about brake skids today, and then also some differential failures. You know, what happened, and Dennis is going to go in and explain these, but a lot of times this is going to cost a driver $10,000 for a repair bill. So make sure you're really focused in and you're paying attention to these issues. This is Dennis Cantrell. He's our Freightliner on-site rep. I'll let him lead it off.
Good morning, everybody. So yeah, I just wanted to get up here and kind of talk about some things we might see over the winter during the cold months. I mean, I think we're coming up less than 30 days out for the winter time. So hopefully we don't see too much more of these. So up on screen there, I've got a couple images of some brakes. We got drums on the right, and that's a disc brake on the left. So what can happen is whenever you get cold temperatures and a lot of condensation due to like rain, snow, you go out to your truck and try to leave, and you can't go anywhere because you got a brake locked up and the tire's dragging. So good news is if you are equipped with the disc brakes, this really isn't too much of a problem. In my experience, I've actually never seen one lock up. I've never heard of one actually locking up. So that's a good thing if you got that. If you got the drum though, and you're old school, this is more of a common occurrence, and something you can do to get out of that is, don't hear this a whole lot, but whenever I was transporting trucks between my dealership here in town and Prime, and I got in a truck and it was locked up, one of the first things I would do that was a quick, easy way to get out of it is I'd stick it in reverse and just kind of go backwards, and literally just putting it in reverse would just be enough to pop it free and just go about your day. I'm gonna preface that by saying, if you put your unit in reverse and the tire is still dragging, don't then flip it back to forward and go back and forth. Don't rock your truck, because doing that, you're more likely going to break something. So if you put it in reverse, it doesn't pop loose. Usually at that point, it's a good idea to have a hammer on hand for this. You need to get out of your truck, chalk your wheels When you're doing this, guys, especially if you are solo, have your wheels chalked before you get out of your truck to get these things released, because they won't release with the parking brakes engaged, because those shoes are pressed against the drum. So chalk your brakes, then release. Don't be out of your truck with the brakes released without them chalked. Because, I mean, just a few weeks ago, we actually had we actually had a tech who was under a truck with the brakes released, didn't have it chalked, and the truck rolled on him. You know, and I think the majority of prime yards are pretty flat, and I'm sure this gentleman thought so too, and it still rolled on him. So don't care how level you think the ground is. I promise you, if there is any grade at all, that truck's going to roll and gravity's going to take over on you.
That's right. That's a great point. You know, I'd stop somebody at least once every 2 weeks to 3 weeks because they have a flat spotted drive. You know, I come over here for meetings in different places. My office is in the plaza by Bay 14 if you want to stop by and visit. But I stop somebody about every 3 weeks. And when I see people skidding their tires, it's usually when it's raining here on the yard. You know, we can get that repair done here on the yard because we have used tires for a couple $100. It doesn't cost you a fortune. But if you're out there on the road, you know, it's going to cost you an easy $800 to $1,200. So make sure when it's raining specifically, you always put that truck in drive and let that truck take you on its own, right? That idle should be enough to go ahead and pull you. I see a lot of you guys driving 3 miles per hour in a yard at idle. So I know you're putting in idle, and if it's not pulling you, you definitely have a wheel locked up. So that's a key tip. You know, make sure it's going to allow you to pull yourself before you just start putting your foot on the gas. Go ahead, Dennis.
And I will just kind of follow up with that. And, you know, just talking about the putting it reverse to pop it out. I knew of a gentleman once who drug a tire about a quarter of a mile before he realized it was flat spotted, and he stuck it in reverse. It popped right loose. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's just because you have more torque going backwards. I don't know what it is about how they lock up, but putting it in reverse seems to be a real quick, easy way to just get out of that spot. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about differentials and differential failures. So what a differential is, on the screen, I got a couple pictures of some axles. That center area that's all rounded, that's the housing that has the axle. It's just basically a gearbox that takes the power from the driveline that comes in the front and sends it out to the ends to the tire. So this is what makes your truck go forward and backwards. Next slide here. Where are they located? They are located on the 2 rear axles. So you got front drive and rear drive, or you might hear front rear and rear. And then this is a little image. This is an example of what a spin out is. This is kind of a controlled scenario. So this truck is just in a puddle, and you see that that one back wheel's turning and the other one's not. So just being in a little bit of a puddle like that can cause what's called a spin out. And again, very controlled situation here. And now something you might be noticing is, why is only the rear wheel spinning? Well, that's because your front axle and your rear axle are not created equal. The front axle is just there to hold the weight as you go down the road. It doesn't really pull anything. The thing I like to compare it to is that friend you help move, but they don't really help move anything. So something you can do to give that front axle power is called the interaxle lock. And on my next screen here, this is just a control switch that's on the Freightliner Cascadias. That one that's all the way to the left is called interaxle lock. You can engage that and it will give power to the front axle. However, if your tire is spinning like you've seen in that video, you need to make sure you put your foot on the brakes, tires come to a complete stop before you engage this, because if you flip that switch, on my next slide, you see that shaft axle or that drive shaft there on the right. Whenever that shaft is spinning, that is in motion, and as we know, things that are in motion like to stay in motion. When that shaft that is in motion goes to mesh with the gears that are static, you get a shear, you get a break. And most of the time, whenever we see this, wheels are spinning way faster than what we showed in that little video. So you got a lot of momentum in those wheels going forward. So we don't want you to engage that and cause this kind of failure. So make sure your foot's on the brake, everything comes to a complete stop, and flip the switch on. Lightly go into the accelerator, and once you know that you're going to get out of where you're at, whether it be on a sheet of ice, snow, or you thought you parked on pavement and you come back a couple days later and you find out you're in the mud, as soon as you know that you're going to be able to coast the rest of the way. I say take your foot off the pedal, coast the rest of the way, come to a complete stop, flip the switch back to the off position, and you should be good to go. And just to address a couple questions I had last time, when you flip that switch on, the truck is gonna ring at you, so you will know it's on and it is still on, so you shouldn't have any risk of just being able to take off down the road driving highway speeds, because those front differential gearboxes are only meant for 25 miles an hour or below. And I think that's all I got, Doug.
That's fantastic. We'll be over here after the meeting. Just remember, if you're stuck, it's a whole lot cheaper to get a winch out than it is to rock these trucks back and forth and blow out a differential. So call your road assist advisor and get a winch out. Winch outs are typically $600 to $700 versus a $8,000 to $10,000 differential. Okay, I'll leave you on that. So thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Dennis. That's fantastic information. You know, that last part of you don't take anything away from that. You know, go with the cheaper route. Don't risk, you know, causing your equipment a $10,000 bill when we can just pay $600, $800 to get you winched out. So I'm gonna have Sean Riker, formerly of the safety department and permits and payroll. Man, you got a lot of jobs here. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. Hey, I was going to talk to you guys. I've been up here a few times recently to talk about the permit side, and I want to do this as a reminder. So a couple of things. New Year's come around, you got your new permits. I'm assuming everybody has them, and I want to make sure you guys know they're also available on your app. If you go to My Prime, the three lines in the top right gives you a drop down. My Pages, My Permits, right? That's where you'll find your registration, which is also called a cab card. And all your other permits are listed on there. So your registration, your IFTA, and your insurance are the three that are the most important you're gonna get asked for almost every single time. I would recommend that you guys either make sure your book is updated with those, or take a screenshot of those on your phone so you can get them, even if you don't have access to internet. If you get pulled over, you got them accessible to you guys all the time. So you guys know where they're at. Make sure you're familiar with that, because they're going to ask you for them at certain times. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is the biggest issue we had last year, and we've harped on a lot this year, but we're almost to the end. So your registration starts on January 1st. Your IFTA, your stickers, you have until the end of February to put them on your tractor. And there's one on each side of your tractor, red this year. Peel your other ones off, clean that area, stick your new ones on there. If you don't have them for any reason, I have some over here. You can get them in the permits department. They're over in the new plaza building on the inbound, outbound side. You can get them over there, but guys, it's really important to make sure you have them on there. And I'll go into a little bit more why I told you to peel them off and clean that area. Because whenever you go through an inspection and they look and they see you have 3 or 4 of them on there, they're going to know what age your tractor is and think, wow, man, that thing's 3 or 4 years old. Maybe I should go ahead and inspect them. Whereas if you have one of them on there, they can't tell that. So a little trick to help you guys out a little bit on the road there. So if you need IFTA stickers, over here with me. If you have any other questions, I'll be here on the side. Thank you, guys.
On that IFTA also, you got to remember that's so easy to spot for DOT. I mean, they can ride up next to you and look over and tell if you've got a current IFTA or not. And if they see that you don't, they will pull you over and you will be spending money for a fine. Don't give any of that money back. You worked too hard for it. Make sure you get those decals on this year.
Speaking of money you worked way too hard for, don't give it to the truck stops. Don't give it to the oil companies. I'm going to ask Sam Messick from our accounting department to come on up. Usually when we talk to Sam, he's always the smartest guy in the room. It looks like he's going to bring Devin from our accounting department up with him. So good morning.
Hey, good morning. I think Devin's the smartest guy in the room though now. So unfortunately I've had to give up my position, but no, Devin Stagner works with me up in the accounting department doing a lot of stuff in the fuel services group. So we just wanted to quickly mention a couple things to you today. One thing, and we talked about this at Driver Advisory Board on Monday, but you know, I've seen some chatter out on social media about, you know, hey, I can fuel outside of the Prime network and still get a great deal, you know, or I can use some other fuel card and still get a great deal. Just wanted to emphasize to everybody, especially the new folks, the value of the Prime fuel program, right? So we're going to bring some really strong, we're going to bring what we think, and based off of what we see and know, are the strongest diesel discounts available in the marketplace today to you, right? We negotiate those on your behalf. You get all the benefit of them. Robert gives you 100% of all of the diesel discounts that you earn. We don't keep any of it. It's all yours as an independent contractor. but there's many other benefits to our program that we have. And Devin, do you maybe just want to talk a little bit about our DEF program? This is something that's very unique. A lot of other fleets don't have DEF programs, and other outside fuel cards definitely don't have DEF programs. So Devin, give us some details on that.
Yeah, so last year in 2023, our average DEF discount per gallon was about $1.20 throughout our network on every gallon. So the stations that we get discounts at are the big ones, obviously, TA Petro, Love's, Pilot. We also get Road Ranger, Sap Brothers,
Quick Trip.
getting one Quick Trip
with
with
the
a K.
K. Yep.
And then here recently, we've worked out a deal with Speedway 7-Eleven to also get another $1 off on their DEF as well at their stations. So that's adding another,
Yeah, significant amount of money to the pot. So $1, that's new. That's something we're announcing today is now at Speedway 7-Eleven locations that are in the Prime network. You also get $1 off per gallon on DEF at all of their facilities. So thank you very much to them for their partnership on that. And just another additional benefit, right, to you as a Prime operator. Don't forget, right, as a Prime operator, you get lots of reward status too at the truck stops across the country. You get diamond status at Love's, which is free showers, free drinks, 4 times the points, day one. You don't have to earn it. It's just given to you as a Prime operator. Same thing at TA Petro. You get their top tier reward status, right, which has lots of benefits. Pilot Flying J starts us at an escalated rewards tier as well. So lots of benefits available to you through the Prime program that I promise you aren't available to you through other programs. So even if you see one fuel stop that, hey man, I'm going to save an extra penny by fueling outside of the Prime network today, you're giving it up in other areas in a big, big way. So we promise we work hard to make sure this fuel network's valuable to you. And please use it. That would be our only ask. One of the things that we wanted to cover quickly too was we continue to see a lot of fraud out in the network. And this is a major industry problem right now. Devin, give us just a quick update on kind of what we're seeing as far as how many of these fraud transactions are we seeing every week, and kind of what's the dollar value of some of these transactions?
Yeah, so over the last 4 weeks, I think it was 23 drivers who had gotten hit with fraud on their cards. And the total was getting close to $30,000 in total for all those transactions. So a lot of these times, these are, $1,000 plus average, $1,000 plus, transactions whenever they hit, or multiple transactions that add up to that. And some drivers even, they'll get hit with it. We'll get them a new card, go through the process, and then boom, they'll get hit with it again, which means a lot of times it's through the Love's app or through something else.
Yeah, your email's compromised, your Love's app's compromised. Change your passwords on a regular basis. Make sure you're protecting yourself, because we always recommend, right, that you, if you can, don't swipe your fuel card to perform a transaction. Do it through the app or through the mobile technology that's available, because they generally steal your information when you're physically swiping. But the reality of it is they're getting smarter and smarter, and they get into your email and reset your password, get access to your Love's app, do all that stuff. So reset your passwords on a regular basis. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Just to give you some context, Devin said we had 23 really quickly, right? I mean, I don't think in 2021 we probably saw more than 10 in the entire year fraud transactions. So we've seen a major uptick in this. It's a really big expense. Devin also mentioned we had one other thing that we wanted to talk about as far as kind of fraud related, something that we're seeing as maybe a little bit of a bad habit that's popped up.
Yeah, so we've seen some drivers say that they've been hit with fraud. There's a difference in when fraud happens, and there's also sometimes, when a driver will swipe their card, they'll fuel up whatever they need to do, and then they'll pull away from the pump before it gets completely shut off. Driver will pull up behind them, then fuel on their card. That's the easiest way to, have money taken off your card for fuel. Your information's already in there. They don't have to hack into anything. They don't have to do anything. They just have to pull up, and it's all there for the taking. So we just have to make sure that we're being very diligent whenever we do finish up fueling, that we make sure the pump is completely shut off, the pump is returned, check on the screen, make sure everything looks good. If there's any issues, go inside and check with the attendant. The same thing goes both ways too, right? Whenever you pull up, make sure that, somebody else's card information isn't active, because we don't want to be doing that to any other driver out there. Both ways, we'll try to help you guys in any way that we can to get that, money back to you. But at some point, whenever you're the one who swiped the card and left it open, the responsibility's got to fall on somebody there. So.
Yeah, so make sure the pump's hung up, bottom line. Quick question back there, yeah.
When fueling at Love's TH, wherever you go, except for here, the performance summary screen changes, which means you have to earn your fuel mileage all over again. But when you fuel here, pull out into the street, I waited an hour and the performance summary screen on the Qualcomm never changed until 4 or 5 hours after I pulled over to take a break. Why doesn't it change here as fast as it would if I'm on the road?
It's based off of when we're importing the transactions, and I'll catch you afterwards and explain to you. But yeah, good question. One more question over here.
So I have a question. I was at Road Ranger, and so Road Ranger wants you to leave your actual card with them.
Don't do it. Tell me if they're doing that,
Yes,
please.
the one exit, it was right there when I got on 44. I was like,
Yeah,
that
no,
doesn't
please
sound
call the
right.
fuel desk. Let us know. They should never ask. Do not let anyone take personal possession of your
Right.
card. Also, don't post your personal, we were talking about this the other day on social media. Don't post load information out on social media with possession, and those key data points stay in your possession only. Yes, sir.
You wanted to know if there's stations that are asking for our cards. The two that are in Illinois, because I'm mostly in Midwest, their machines will not accept our cards at the machines majority of the time.
So if you're talking about the Circle K locations,
Yes.
they do now. They've updated all their hardware.
When was that?
It was maybe 2 or 3 months ago that they
Okay.
updated all their
It's-
hardware.
It's been a while, but
Yep.
yeah, I just wanted to let you know, both of those Circle Ks in Illinois, they need our cards.
Yep, absolutely. Don't do it. Let us know if they're asking for it, and we'll go from there. One more question here.
What are y'all likely to add the QT and racetrack to our network?
We've talked to QT a little bit. We'll add them when they're ready to play ball at the discount levels that we need and we think you deserve, right? That's when we'll get them in the network. Otherwise, that's all we got. So thank you very much for letting us steal some of your time.
Those guys are bulldogs when it comes to getting discounts. I'm gonna talk to them after and see, I got a pretty good commute to work. Let's talk about gas. I need some gas discounts.
Not yet. No, but a lot of conversation was had there about the app. So for one, it is the most useful tool that you can have as a Prime driver. So hopefully everybody has the Prime mobile app downloaded on their smartphone. If you have questions about it, we've got Brianne over here, the resident expert. After the meeting, come on up and ask her any questions that you have pertaining to technology. We had a question.
Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, a long time ago, but anyhow, I'm gonna backtrack on you a little bit. When you was talking about the driver of the year, driver of the month, driver of whatever, is there some way you can put something out so that the drivers have a goal to attain? Because a lot of these drivers and the new people coming in, they don't know what it is that it takes to become that.
Yes, we can.
Just a suggestion.
Appreciate it. All right, so we're coming down to the end of the meeting. We had a fantastic meeting today. We talked a little bit about safety. We had, David and Les up here talking about their experience as 5 and 2 million accident-free safe driving mile drivers, respectively. We recapped the week. We talked about how I can settle my food a little bit quicker by taking a quick little walk, talking about making sure we take care of our equipment. And we had Logs come up here and talk about staying compliant. So
I got reprimanded from Driver Health and Fitness for talking about cake.
Oh, cake, yeah. And of course, the thieves are working just as hard as you are for your money. That's crazy to believe. But, I'm going to ask Jim Guthrie to come on up here, and he's going to give us a little bit of information. And then, Jim, if you want to hand it on off to the next speaker and close us out.
Sure. Thanks, Dennis. I'm going to have Jeff Chisholm come up here with me. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jim Guthrie. I work in our reefer operations. I wanted to talk a little bit about claims prevention, financial health. You all work very hard for your money. We don't want to see you lose anything in cargo claims. And this is becoming a more and more complex issue every day with bill of ladings and the details and the different requirements that we have with our customer base to prevent any kind of issue as it relates to cargo. So an example this week I want to talk about is we had a driver that entered an industrial park to his receiver, And it was, I believe, in the middle of the night, probably not very good visibility, and turned in to where his GPS thought, or where he thought his GPS had turned into, and backed into a dock ultimately and broke a seal. And after breaking the seal, come to find out he was at the wrong location. The correct receiver was across the street. And so that receiver, after we left and went to the receiver across the street, that receiver said they wouldn't take the product because the seal was broken. So, a couple things, and Jeff's here to talk about the technicalities of it as well, but, never break a seal until you validate, confirm that the receivers told you to break the seal, or the receiver breaks the seal themselves. But also to make sure you're at the right place, describe the product to the receiver, make sure, this is the correct receiver, because some of these food loads and the regulations and, customer requirements on the supply chain, integrity, some of these food loads are very, in pharmaceuticals too, are very technical and very fragile as to what they'll accept. So, and most importantly, if you do break a seal and there's an issue, don't ever do anything but call claims. The very first thing you do is call claims if there is an issue, before you, if you find out you're at the wrong spot, whatever, make sure you call claims immediately. Jeff, what do you have to add?
Yeah, I would just add that, these seals are very critical. If you do have a seal that's broken in route, or, there's some type of mistake like that, make sure and contact us. What we want to do is be proactive. We have a system where we basically complete a chain of custody as far as what happened from the shipper all the way up to the seal break. We provide our temp records, we provide our door switches, and really we just get ahead of the problem. If we just roll into the receiver without a seal, it just sends up red flags everywhere, and they just go into this automatic process of rejecting the load. So really, we just want to be proactive, get ahead of it, and give our customers some assurance that what we're telling them actually happened, and we have the data to prove it. And, hopefully we can eliminate the problem before you get to the receiver.
That's good, Jeff. Thanks very much for that. The bill of lading, checking your temperatures, checking your addresses, all those things. It's a lot of difficulties, but it's really important to dot your I's, cross your T's, scrutinize every detail. The load information that we have is sometimes not accurate with the temperature or the address of where the deliveries go. It's really important to check bill of lading for those details and others to make sure that you're protecting yourself against claims whenever you do get loaded or when you're at a receiver. All these things can be really costly if there's any issue or any mistakes. I want to also congratulate, I see Rico here and Les is over here, all the 2 million plus mile drivers that were in this week. What a great event. Thank you all for what you do. That's a remarkable achievements, and we really appreciate it. And welcome to the new folks that are here. It's great to see some folks in here. Claims, operations, we're all here to help you succeed. So like Jeff said, like I'm saying, if you have any issues, questions, if you have any thought that there's an issue, call right away, call claims, call your fleet manager, and we'll walk you through it. We'll help you protect your business. So thank you all for what you do. I'm going to call Steve Wucky up here. Next speaker, Steve.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks very much, Jim. Man, I just want to say a couple things about the presentations. Dennis, I think he did this with our dispatch meeting at 6:30 one morning. And, I know where to put fuel in the trucks, but now I know about the spin out thing, because that is a really good presentation. I think it gets down to the nuts and bolts of protecting yourself and protecting the maintenance on your equipment. I don't know if anybody else knew all that, but I thought it was a hell of a presentation. And I'll tell you something else about our fuel guys. Sam doesn't get excited very often, but if you give your card to somebody, he gets excited. You just saw it. Do not give up your fuel card. You keep it in your hand. Don't give it up, okay? One One thing we figured out from our driver advisory board that I think is very, very relevant is you all want us to jazz up our safety meetings a little bit. You want us to change them up, get a little more interest, a little more excitement. So to that end, we would like you to go ahead and give input to Jamie and Mitch. I guess it would be on the app perhaps. Is that right, Mitch? So you have comments about what you want to see. So it's more interesting and more relevant to your profession or your questions. Please, let's forward those to our team and we'll try to do a better job. That's what we're all about. We are here to convey good information that's accurate. We want to communicate with you. We want to be transparent. I see El Jefe coming up here, getting ready to get El Jefe, I'm done. Okay, I'm out of here. Well, thank you all. Appreciate it very much. Go right ahead.
Yeah, folks, we're running late this morning. We have a lot of folks that need to get to work. Steve had a really good point with the generalization about, this support staff that we have in here and their expertise in their area of responsibility. These folks know what they're doing. Now, you may run into some old salt in a truck stop and he's holding court on how to do this or how to do that. And he never does this and it's all cheap freight and all that kind of thing. Ask that old boy how many 8,000 truck lines he's built or she's built. And probably not likely. There aren't too many of them around that are as successful as this company. And the reason for that success, in addition to the service that you provide and the safety you provide, are these support people. They are experts in their area. And I'll just leave that with you. I appreciate your efforts. It's springtime. My goodness, what a beautiful day we have out there. A great day for trucking. You can roll the window down, let that breeze blow in your face and do some trailer trucking. God bless each of you. Please be safe.